Ah, yes, my friends, you hear the music that can only mean one thing. It is time for another all-new, award-winning edition of Two Teams, One Podcast. I'm Scott Stanford. This is my sports producer, award-winning sports producer, Bret Callahan.
I have a question.
What are you looking for?
An award. Do we ever get an award?
You know, I have them all at my house. I didn't tell you we got a lot of awards yet.
We did?
I didn't.
There were ceremonies?
I didn't share any of them with you.
Did you go on stage?
I went on stage. I don't worry, I mentioned you. It's fine.
You son of a...
All right, listen.
All right,
as of this broadcast,
Yes.
the Yankees are annihilating Tampa Bay down in Florida.
CC Sabathia is hitting a lot of people.
And the big story of the day is CC Sabathia needed one more inning to reach an incentive that would have given him $500,000 more.
That's true.
And in the sixth inning, he retaliated and hit a Tampa Bay player on purpose for retaliation for their guy hitting Austin Romine. CC on purpose retaliates, does the ultimate teammate thing, and gives up $500,000. I think the Yankees will still give it to him. But your thoughts, Yankee fan, could have been CC's last pitch of the season.
First off, Romine didn't get hit. It went above his head.
All right.
It was close.
Okay.
Good for you, CC. You stuck up for your boys. Good for you.
That is the ultimate teammate, right?
Great guy, CC Sabathia.
And listen, you
wouldn't do that for me.
No, not the
Of course not.
$500,000?
I'm worth more than $500,000.
$100 maybe.
Oh, please.
You know that CC knew exactly how many more innings he needed to get
He knew.
that. You know, his agent was on the phone. CC need one more inning for another $500,000.
Don't do anything bad, CC.
Right? His wife could have been
Can I
at
ask you a
home
question?
waiting for that money. He doesn't care.
She's on Macy's. She's not looking for chart.
Yeah.
What do we got here? Mink coats,
Amber Sabathia.
Michael Kors watch.
Honey, I got bad news.
Let me ask you a question. Should CC have waited the half inning and then said to Boone, look,
Let me go back out.
let me go back out and nail this guy?
That's possible. That's possible.
I give CC credit.
Listen, he didn't care.
I wouldn't do it. But I might do it for you.
Could that be a big spark now as we head into this final weekend?
You know, that's good.
Right?
They have a little lead on Oakland. Maybe this propels them to home field advantage. Next Wednesday, hopefully, we'll be in front of Yankee Stadium doing this award-winning podcast, talking about my New York Yankees in the one-game wild card playoff.
Oh, if they lose that game, you are going to be devastated.
I got to say something, too.
Go ahead.
I gotta make a retraction.
All right.
On last week's podcast, I listened to the advice of an editor here.
Okay.
I'm not going to mention his name.
What'd you do?
He said he'd start Masahiro Tanaka in the wild card game. Well, since I agreed with him and his philosophy on pitching Hap in Boston,
Okay.
Tanaka has really not looked good.
No, he hasn't looked good. But you know what? Our good friend Sid Rosenberg from Bernie and Sid in the Morning on WABC.
You're listening to
comes to talk.
Bernie and Sid.
77 WABC. Even Bernie, Sid, who's like a sports savant.
He is.
He said you go J-Hap or Tanaka. He'd be happy with either one. So I don't think you're that far off.
I think, I was rethinking my philosophy on this, and I think you're right. I think you have to go with the ace pitcher. I think you have to go with the guy. Like a lot of people are saying now, Severino's stuff has looked good. He's back on track, 19 wins. Throw Sevy in there. Maybe you do that. But I remember when Sevy came in last time, what happened in the one-game wild card. Oh, my God. It was the first inning. We were down 3-0 or whatever it was. I was like, this is ridiculous.
It was almost disaster.
So I think really you got to go with J.A. Happ. Go with Happ. Make it a happening at Yankee Stadium. The crowd will be crazy. You'll be there. I'll be there. Our producer, Heath, will be there. We'll all be going crazy, and we'll see what happens.
And listen, this weekend, the Yankees, their magic number will be down to 1 after today.
They could possibly clinch tomorrow night.
They can clinch tomorrow night, whether they win or the A's lose, the Yanks. Unless the Yankees get swept this weekend and the A's sweep this weekend, that's the only way.
That's not happening.
They could lose at home field. That would be a disaster.
That's a disaster.
But you know what? I don't think Boston has anything to really play for this weekend.
They don't. They're going to rest
resting a lot of guys. So I think the Yanks will be okay because they just at least want to clinch that game. And then on Wednesday, one game.
Anything can happen.
That's it. And the worst thing about baseball is that you can have the worst team in the league play the best team in the league, and that worst team could win in a one-game play.
I hope that doesn't happen.
So we'll see.
Now, speaking about pitching,
go ahead.
Can I segue you into this?
Do the segue.
Here's the segue. Jacob deGrom last night, the deGrominator, looked fantastic.
Yes.
He had 10 strikeouts.
Yep.
His 10 strikeout was what?
His 1,000th career strikeout.
Okay.
Which made it a 1.7 ERA for the season.
Right. That's second best in Mets history.
Yes.
Gooden had the first. What was Gooden's?
He was like
1.6?
1.6 something in the
Ridiculous.
mid-80s. I don't
Right.
know if it was 85 or
So
86.
here's the question: Is Dwight Gooden? Is Jacob deGrom your NL Cy Young Award winner?
Absolutely.
He doesn't have the wins.
Yeah, but you know what? Everybody was moaning and complaining.
Well, yeah.
How do you give it to a guy who's not even over 500? Now he's over 500.
Okay.
He finished 10-9. Listen, it's one of the most phenomenal seasons anybody's ever had.
I'm going to ask you the second question.
How do you not give it to him?
So you're giving him the award.
I give him Cy Young.
I didn't get the podcast award. He gets a Cy Young award.
Cy Young.
I'm going to ask the next question. What do the Mets do with Jacob deGrom?
Well, you got to listen. The thing to do right now is I think the Wilpons should just sign him now, re-sign him, rework his contract, show him a little love. Because by the time he gets out of this current crappy contract, he's already into his 30s.
Well, I'm going to ask the next question.
Got to give it to him now.
If you're Jacob deGrom's agent, what do you do?
What are you going to do? You can't do anything.
Why don't you demand a trade? Say, look, I'm not going through this again next year, the trade deadline.
You can demand a trade. The Mets don't have to do anything. The Mets own you. They own deGrom.
Out of good faith, they should do something for this guy.
Well, they should give him the money.
Poor man.
They should.
Listen,
deGrom's not going. He's not going to want. But he
deserves it.
He could be making $20 million a year.
If deGrom was on the Yankees, there's no doubt who's starting the one-game wildcard playoff.
Absolutely.
And if deGrom's on the Yankees, they're not in the one-game wildcard playoff. The guy needs to get paid, and I think the guy. If I'm his agent, I'm saying, Jake, here's the deal. This team is not getting Manny Machado. This team is not getting Bryce Harper, and we'll talk about that in a second. This team is doing nothing, and you're going to labor here again for another trade deadline, and you're going to be the subject of rumors. So you know what? Let's demand that trade now. Winter meetings come around, the Mets trade, fix their farm system, and away we go.
You can demand whatever you want. They own deGrom.
I guess.
Right now they own him.
There's talk in baseball. We have a couple minutes left.
It's the double package. I know where you're going.
What am I going to say?
You're going Manny Machado, Bryce Harper, $400 million each, one team, $800 million package.
So that would be two players,
that's the
one
talk.
team.
Two players, one team, new podcast.
True.
For $800 million.
Who would do that?
There's talk the Phillies might be interested in doing that.
Would you do that?
Listen, if you got money, you got the money, but it doesn't guarantee you even a playoff appearance.
Okay, and now I'm going to take it from a Yankee perspective because I always try to bring things back to the
Go
Bronx.
ahead.
Would you? And it's a question that's going to come up in the offseason. Would you trade Stanton for an ace pitcher and sign Bryce Harper? I asked this before. Now we know what's happened this season.
No.
Why not?
I don't think I would. I think Stanton's just, you know what? We give him the one season here in New York. He's 37 home runs, almost 100 RBIs.
But it wasn't a Stanton career.
I think next year, now that he's got one in his back pocket, and he's had a good season.
Oh, he has.
Not for Stanton, but he's had a good season. I think next season the guy comes back as an MVP type caliber player.
I also think he changed his stance a little bit.
He did.
Why?
I don't know. He's got that back foot.
Can I ask you a question? The guy hit 59, 60 home runs last year. I'm going to change my swing. What?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's like insanity.
Somebody had him change his stance, right?
I don't know who would do that.
You know what song the Yanks are going to hear a lot of this weekend?
What?
Sweet Caroline.
Ba, ba, ba.
Right?
Good times never. Yeah.
So good.
The worst
so
song.
Good.
I told you.
So good.
I told you there's a better stadium anthem than that.
What? Which
one? Go. Go, 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 Godzilla! Hideki Matsui song, come on.
So he's not here anymore.
So we got Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
Talk a little Ryder Cup.
That's so exciting. You want to go Ryder Cup?
Why not?
Well, because of Tiger?
Am I going to talk Brett Kavanaugh? I don't know that. God.
Kavanaugh striking out?
It's not the name Bret. It's not, I'm just saying that. He has 2 T's. This guy's got 1. I'm just going to preface that.
Why do you have 1 T?
Because it's cooler.
What Bret has a 1 T
I
in his
do,
name?
and I'm going to explain to you why.
That's like going Scott with 1 T. Who does that?
When I was born, my mom liked the name
Guys
Bret.
couldn't afford the extra T?
Of course. Times were tough back then in 74. No, my mom liked the name Bret. My dad said, if we're going to do this,
the
1 T is the male version.
Really?
The 2 T is the female.
So what happened?
I got the one. Oh, yeah, thanks a lot. I'm going to give you guys, you know what? Bret the Hitman Hart, 1T. Bret Saberhagen, I believe 1T.
Really? Is that true?
I think so.
Wow.
Bret the Hitman has 1T.
How about Brett Summers from Match Game?
Bret Summers. Match Game. Well, tell me what you got there, Gene. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for Two Teams.
We still have like 40 seconds left.
Yeah, well, it's going to take me another 30 seconds just to wrap this up and tell me your name.
Yeah, with a 1T.
Bret the Hitman Callahan.
1T.
I'm Scott Stanford. Hope you enjoyed this award-winning rendition.
I'd like to see an award.
Of America's favorite podcast. Two Teams, One Podcast. Yanks on our air, Picks 11, Friday night. Boston Red Sox. Doesn't mean anything this weekend. Yanks just trying to wrap up
well, it means
the wild
something.
card home field. They just need one win, and then it's over.
Thank God.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Woo-hoo!